begin here tonight. SAPS's ballistic expert Brigadier Mishack Mkhabela has warned that criminals may find it too easy to access ammunition, making forensic analysis more challenging and stretching already limited resources. Mkhabela also pointed to the severe shortage of skilled analysts, which further delays the case processing as well as adding pressure on the SAPS's Forensic Division. Now, despite these challenges, he commended the management of the forensic science laboratories for their efforts to implement a scarce skills allowance to retain critical expertise.
The reality, Commissioners, in terms of paragraph 9, it is that cases that are not yet analyzed, they still need to be analyzed. And some of them, depending on the volume. One thing that we have noticed now, I don't know whether it's a trend, maybe, especially with CITs, I've noticed that maybe it's easy nowadays to procure ammunition. Because in one scene of a CIT, you may find that you collect over 100 cartridge cases on the scene. And it happens a lot. So it takes a while to analyze those multiple exhibits. Maybe the criminals these days, in the olden days, you'll find one cartridge case of AK-47 and the other calibers. But these days, maybe it is easy for criminals to acquire ammunition because they don't spare them, they use them, they make sure. And that creates too much work for us because now it takes longer for an analyst to finish a case if it has got multiple exhibits.
At the same time, Mkhabela also highlighted that the bullet recovered during the autopsy of murder victim Arman Swart only reached the forensic lab nearly 3 months after the incident on the 17th of April 2024. Now, he told the Commission that this raised serious questions about its whereabouts during that particular period. However, Mkhabela also commended forensic lab management for their efforts to implement that scarce skill allowance.
The incident happened on the 17th of April 2024. Now, one expects that the deceased will be taken to the mortuary where autopsy will be completed and the bullet will be retrieved. But when we check the date when the bullet was brought to the lab, it was almost after 3 months. Now, one asks himself, where was that bullet between that period? If the incident took place on the 17th of April 2024, but the bullet was only handed over to the laboratory on the 12th of August 2024. May, June, July, August. So those are some of the things that also puts us under pressure, because when the IO wants the report, they will not consider the part that they played in order to delay the case. They will want you to finalize the case now. But when you check the timelines, surely the autopsy was not performed around August. I don't think so. So surely the bullet was lying somewhere and someone delayed to deliver it in the lab.
Dr. Lennit Max, security analyst and former police commissioner of the Western Cape, joins us now for some analysis on this particular evidence. Dr. Max, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. So, very disturbingly, right, when you hear about this issue of this bullet that Mkhabela says that, for example, where could it have been if it's going to be a bullet that, you know, the autopsy is done, but only the bullet that is found in the body reaches, in fact, goes in 3 months later. It raises questions about where it might have been, but also some serious questions about just how slow investigations may go.
Yes, of course. Good evening. That delay should be investigated thoroughly by the police management. It is really something which borders on defeating the ends of justice, because it delayed an investigation, and as a result, the victims' families didn't get justice in time. Justice delayed is justice denied. And the police are the first and primary entry point to the criminal justice system when things goes wrong, when crime is committed, when people's rights are violated. They go to the police, and this situation cannot continue as is.
And as you speak about that, it's going to be very critical for them to do what you're suggesting because, for example, if you go back to witness A and B, they were claiming that there were attempts to sabotage the ballistics report so that it does not advance, the case does not advance beyond the prosecutorial stage. But then when you listen to the ballistics head, Brigadier Mishack Mkhabela, he says that investigators, in fact, were not putting pressure on those who are working in the division. And he also paints a picture of a division that appears to be short-staffed as well. So it is important for them to do what you're saying so that we understand exactly which version is correct here.
Yes, as South Africans, we should be very worried if we rely on the South African Police Service. And for this reason, I thank Lieutenant General Mkhabela for what he did on the 6th of July. If he did not do that, South Africans would not be in a position to hear what are the shortcomings of the police. What this brigadier said is very worrisome. It shows a lack of management. That department is so crucial, and they've got only 42 analysts to do the job for the whole of South Africa. They don't have places to keep the weapons and the evidence. And I'm a bit disappointed because the evidence leader didn't ask him whether he reported the shortcomings to his superiors, because this needs to be done. We have seen on a very regular basis how Daryl Lee James, the MP of Action SA, exposed the lack of management in the Texas services, where she walked into offices there's no supervision. People can come and go and take dockers and leave without any person noticing. This is a dereliction and that of duty, and is really a view of the lack of management in the South African Police Service.
And one, of course, as listening to you right now, the ballistics section of the SAPS is critical, particularly when it comes to conducting forensic analysis and also the, firearms as well as, analysis of firearms as well as ammunition when it comes to evidence in criminal investigations. But if we are now hearing about the 42 individuals, but also the concerns you are raising as well, one wonders though, when it comes to the 42 people who are working there, these analysts who are very critical, is it just a budgetary issue in your view, or is it this management issue that you have alluded to?
Let me tell you, you won't have enough money for everything. But of course, the management needs to prioritize their objectives. And here is a clear indication. If you look at what Mkhabela did, what this, the witnesses said, witnesses A, B, and C, as well as the brigadier's evidence, then there's no hesitation with me that there's a lack of proper management. You cannot expect of your members to deliver the services if you don't equip them properly to do their job. What the expert actually also indicated, he says there's easy access to ammunition. He said at one scene, some of the scenes got more than 100 casings. Now, I just want to make use of this opportunity to say that in 2019, we indicated to the then Minister, Brigadier Mishack, a process of coded ammunition, where people are being held accountable, will be held accountable for ammunition. At this point in time, people are relying on the firearm serial numbers and monitored, but no one take accountability for the bullets. Now, this system was tested by the same ballistic unit, and they wrote an 8 pages report recommending the use of it and implementation of it. But the minister then, Peggy Kayle, was not interested in pursuing this. The minister on special leave, he was informed, but he is on special leave now. And my information is that this concept was also now produced to the acting minister. And hopefully he will proceed for and allow investigation into this process to see that how we can actually limit and keep people accountable for ammunition.
So, Dr. Max,
yeah.
Pardon me, just before I let you go, as we wrap up then, that what you're saying is disturbing, and also coupled with what we also heard from witness A and B, for example. In light of these shortcomings in this particular system, then how much of this system is vulnerable to manipulation when it comes to some critical investigations?
Absolutely. And for that reason, I hope that what the Brigadier told us today, South Africans, that, there's a culture in the police of victimization when you speak the truth. And I hope that he is not going to be victimized by his seniors of what he said. His evidence today indicates to us how difficult is it to bring those perpetrators to justice. And that perpetrators exploit the shortcomings of the South African police service. And we cannot continue like business as usual. Something needs to be done, and the government have to prioritize policing and safety and security in this country.
Yeah. Dr. Max, always appreciate your time. Let's see then what else do we get to hear, because what we're hearing are some serious concerns about the system. But appreciate your time this evening, Dr. Lennit Max, the security analyst and former police commissioner of the Western Cape.